Audio boys and girls, it's time for the Jeep Talk Show Roundtable. Nope, I was going to say interview, and I went, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to switch it to Roundtable. Neither one of those. So get it right, Tony. I need to put it in the show notes, April. I think that's what the problem is.
Yes.
Is that I'm going on automatic mode. This is our flagship episode. I still had problems with it. Flagship episodes. Don't get old, April. Don't get
I'm
old.
not hot. I'm fighting it every day.
Although it's better than dying. Dying young, I think, is
better than dying young. I guess if you had to choose, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting old. You just be thankful for every day that you're given. So,
well, you're not old, so you can say that. You don't know when you get there. All right, in the Jeep related news, you may find yourself wanting to be pulled over by this police Jeep. Oh, and is the Jeep Comanche coming back? The MJ? Could the MJ be coming back? I always loved the Comanche, but who doesn't love a Cherokee truck, you know? And we have hurricane info right before the season.
And I'm April. Thanks for having me back. Some know me as Jeep Daisy, but we're here for another episode with the Jeep Talk Show. And I'll just start by saying, pull me over. Exactly. What do I need to do to take a ride? I'm down.
And officer, can I see your Jeep?
Exactly. I'm down for a hurricane engine. And from what I understand in here, it's as if James Bond and the Secret Service had a baby, is what I came across. But sleek, sexy, and some serious horsepower. The question is, can the officer handle it better than me?
No.
Shots fired.
No. Unless they're a Jeeper.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of officers that are Jeepers. Have you ever gotten pulled over just so they can ask you questions about your Jeep?
Well, you know what? I have not been pulled over in my Jeep. It was
I think we talked about
vehicles, that I was pulled over in. So not the Jeep. But you know what? With all the friends that I have, I think I really might be able to get pulled over now in this because I might think it's a friend, and lo and behold, it's not. I might be goofing off, but you know, exactly what can I do to get pulled over is what I want to know. I want to ride.
I was doing 25 over the speed limit.
That'd work. That would work.
And an XJ, you know, people say XJs can't go that fast. It just depends if you're in a school zone or not, and then it's not so hard.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. I'm near several school zones, so
stop signs in school zones. I refuse to disobey those orders.
Yeah, I'm not going to speed in a school zone. That's for certain. But you know, that's also the teacher in me too. So yeah, that's instilled.
All right, and correct me if we've gone over this, but I just realized. I mean, you did introduce yourself as April, but you have April, Jeep Daisy. Is there a JD in the mix?
JD. I go by JD. Yep.
What do you want to be called here on the show?
Some people call me other things.
Same
April's
here, but
great.
I just call them on the edge
and
fans.
Initially, I just named the Jeep Daisy, not myself, but it kind of just stuck, and now people will say, "Oh, hey, Jeep Daisy," but technically, it's the Jeep's name, not mine.
Well, that's like Janet from our Chick Chat episodes, because I thought her name was Charlie because she's got her Instagram is charlie.jku. And I wanted to call her Charlie. It's not unusual for women to be called Charlie. I think it's unusual, but I think it's unusual, but it happens. So, no. And Janet with Charlie JKU.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
so people get confused very easily when they see you have an Instagram page for your Jeep, and it's not necessarily your name. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. But I guess whenever they walk up to you and start calling you Charlie, you immediately know how they know you.
Exactly. Through social media. Yep.
Yeah. There's actually a Hispanic woman here in the Houston area that's on Fox 26 News. I don't know if she's still doing a thing or not, but she's one of those outside reporters. And that's what her name was Charlie. So it was perfectly reasonable to me that that Janet would be Charlie as well. All right, so here's the police vehicle. And April, I was a little disappointed when I pulled up the picture for this. You can see it there in the show notes. It is very reminiscent of what the police already use, like Suburbans and so on and so forth. To me, it looks like it's a Wagoneer or a Grand Wagoneer, probably a Wagoneer because that's cheaper.
Yeah.
So the command operations vehicle with a Hurricane engine. Jeep introduced a specialized command operation vehicle, COV, designed for U.S. police use, equipped with a new Hurricane inline-six, this twin-turbo 3.0 engine, replacing the 3.6-liter Pitestar V6 and the 6.4-liter Hemi V8. And I've heard this directly from Greg Henderson over at Unofficial Use Only, who drove a couple of vehicles with Hurricane engines before they were announced. And of course, the Jeep people had tweaked them, and he says it was amazing. The only thing I don't like about the idea behind this is that the turbos. I always like naturally aspirated engines because
Right.
turbos just mean that's more things to break, and I think it decreases the longevity of the motor.
And I mean, I don't want to really agree with you because I
You
just
don't
don't
have to,
agree with you. But
right?
after extended use, my question is, how is it going to hold up? But,
Hmm.
and there again, thinking about the look of it, I mean, I think it's sleek. It's pretty nice looking. Leather
Oh yeah.
seats, night vision. It's got an incredible package on it. But I, I can't imagine any law enforcement or any emergency agency not wanting this vehicle if it will withstand the test of time.
Well, and you have random officers driving the vehicle, which I think is probably worse than having a Hertz vehicle because you really
Oh,
have people that
that
don't
is
give a
true.
damn. So that it actually is a very good test of not only the quality of the Jeep but also to the quality of the Hurricane engine. So,
Yes.
but I've heard a lot of good things about the Hurricane engine, and I'm really interested in driving something that has it in there. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do that. And of course, it's back to the inline-six, like the 4.0, the legendary 4.0 that was in so many TJs, so many XJs that for years and years and years. Not unusual to get 250 to 300,000 miles out of a
No,
4.0.
no. Well, in this one, what they say it's 0 to 60 in like 6 seconds that this can go. So, um,
Yeah, that's nice.
it would be nice. Serious stuff. Presidential protection, tow package, 10,000 pounds. It's definitely a beast.
Just amazing what they're
Yeah,
doing with a straight six. I just wish it was 4 liter and not the 3 liter, but they're doing what they got
true.
to do. Sounds like they're doing okay. So in the COV, the Hurricane delivers robust performance for high speed pursuits. That's just so strange to hear. It's like hearing about a high speed pursuit in an XJ, and off road capability tailored for law enforcement needs. Oh, I like it whenever the perps go off road, where they'll go off on a field and stuff, and the little cars have, or even the
Gosh,
police cars will usually get stuck in the median. I bet you it's not going to happen with this Jeep.
it shouldn't happen. It would be embarrassing if it happened. But now, can you imagine Live Patrol? I want to see that show
Yeah.
in this vehicle. That's to another level. But it's got to be a lot of off-roading to
Hmm.
make it really entertaining.
So the vehicle includes features like reinforced steel skids plates. Oh, nice! A
Yes.
factory installed Warn winch, a Uconnect 5 infotainment system with a 12.3-inch touchscreen. Oh, the cops aren't ever going to leave this thing.
No.
They're going to pull up to the donut shop and have it delivered to their window.
Yes. Yes. This is why I said I want to take a ride in it. I
Yeah,
mean, it's jam up. It's jam up.
it sounds very nice. While specific COV specs are limited, the Hurricane engine and other Jeep models like the Wagoneer has shown reliability with no major issues reported after 2 years. 2 years isn't a long time,
No, it's
but
not.
good news. The COV is built on the Wrangler platform, likely a four-door configuration, includes police-specific modifications like emergency lighting and sirens. I think that's BS. This isn't a Wrangler. This isn't
No.
based on a Wrangler. That looks like a Wagoneer. I think that's a misprint.
Yeah.
It
I
is. It's
agree.
very reminiscent of like a Suburban. And
It
this
is.
thing's nice because not only do you have room for perps, but you also have rooms for dogs and AR-15s and stuff in the back.
The only thing's missing is that it's not bulletproof. Should be bulletproof.
I think they get really heavy when you start
Yeah.
making them bulletproof.
Yeah. But that would be fun.
All right. Well, I wonder if you can buy one of these things, after a number of years
As
when
a
they retire them.
civilian,
Yeah.
I'm down for that. That would be really cool. I
I
mean,
just couldn't see
reading
this
this,
off
I
road
was
though.
debating going back to school and changing my major, you know?
I don't see how cops do it.
Had
I
that
see
been
some.
the vehicle of choice, I might have.
Yeah. I can't see how the cops do it. Some of the stuff they have to put up with and not just
That
beat
is
the
true.
holy shit out of people is amazing to me.
Yeah.
The good
Forget
old
that.
days
I
of
just wanna ride in the Jeep.
policing. Yeah. Maybe they could use a driver.
Yep. I will so be the driver, like an Uber driver for the police department. Yeah. Secret Service, the president. Yeah.
All right, I don't want to get you guys' hopes up, but this virtual Jeep Comanche rendering, a virtual rendering of a revived Jeep Comanche, a compact pickup truck last produced in 1992, has sparked interest among enthusiasts. The rendering, and this is the important part, not an official Jeep product,
What?
imagines, yeah, that's the sad part. Imagines a modern Comanche based on the Jeep Gladiator platform, but with a retro-inspired design reminiscent of the original MJ series. Features boxy silhouette, round headlights, and a compact bed, blending nostalgic styling with modern tech like the Uconnect 5 system. I think Uconnect 6 is out, so they
Oh,
keep
is
talking
it?
about 5. Yeah, I think I
So
have
why are they
Uconnect 5 in the
not?
Gladiator.
I have 5.
Do you? Yeah.
So if they
Uh,
have,
the, the big deal about 5 is they don't have Bluetooth. What is it? What's the thing? Android Auto, or and then there's the iPhone has
they have the
iPhone Auto.
iPhone. Yeah,
Yeah. And I believe the Uconnect 6 actually has the Bluetooth thing. So you just get in your car, it
and it just
automatically pulls up. Yeah,
automatically.
yeah. Where the other one, you have to use a cable. I
That's
couldn't believe in
nice.
2021 you have to use a cable. Now
No,
you can buy stuff to hook up, but they're like $50, and now you get this ugly looking thing hanging out of
right.
a USB port.
Nobody
All
wants
right.
that.
No, no, not in these days. While Jeep has not confirmed plans to revive the Comanche, the rendering reflects fan desire for a smaller, more affordable pickup compared to the Gladiator. Post on X and enthusiast forums suggest strong community interest, but any production would likely use the Hurricane engine or the 2.0 turbo four-cylinder for efficiency. My choice is the Hurricane engine. I think that a 2.0 liter with turbo four-cylinder, no. We all learned what a big piece of shit the four-cylinder was in a TJ.
I mean,
Um,
unfortunately, yeah.
it just doesn't make sense for
If you're gonna do it, you might as well do it right.
especially with a frame vehicle because they're heavy, heavier than the unibodies. So the concept aligns with Jeep's history of revisiting iconic names as seen with the upcoming Cherokee. Hey, are you aware of Jeep's involvement with the new Jurassic Park movie?
I am. I have seen a little bit of this.
Yeah, so they're getting in bed with
Entertaining.
they're getting in bed with the entertainment. I hope that movie is a good one.
I hope
I stopped
so.
watching them after the first one.
Well, I've seen them, but the first one is definitely the best. I mean,
Oh yeah,
and that really goes for most any movie. The first
except
one that's put out is
except
the best.
Aliens. This Aliens was better
Oh,
than Alien. Yeah, I
I don't
really.
know that I've seen that. I'm gonna have to check that
Oh,
out.
you haven't seen that one where everybody complains nowadays with the woman being the hero?
I have
And
not. Or maybe
Aliens, Ripley was the hero of that movie, and she was
okay.
badass, and I don't think any man had
Wait.
any problem with it.
Okay. What year was that? Do you
Good
remember?
Lord.
It's been
So
a while. I think I
yeah,
have.
yeah.
I've seen. Okay. I
Yeah,
think
that's
I
the one where she's carrying Newt and has the
okay.
big gun, and she's like
Yes.
momming
Yeah.
the Newt, and it's the one where Bill Hicks is in there going, "Game over, man! Game over!"
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Oh, it's a great movie,
Yes.
and it's funny when the story is good and the story has a female heroine in it, and it's absolutely fine. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think anybody has a problem with that. At least they shouldn't. But whenever they try to shoehorn women into roles that are clearly not the
Not
stories,
for
just
yeah.
not, yeah, it's just like this is stupid. Don't
Yeah, I
insult
wanna
my
if this is the one
intelligence.
I'm thinking of, that was back in college, near high school days. So it's
So
been
I think
a while.
'79 was Alien. Aliens was
Oh, okay. That's
a good time after that, but I bet you it was in '80s, maybe early
okay.
'90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
great
thinking.
movie, and that one, I mean, hands down, better than Alien. Alien wasn't bad, but Aliens was really, really good. All right, so we've been talking about it. We're going to talk a little bit more, and this is, I guess you could say, it's hurricane season with all this talk about hurricanes.
It honestly
The
is.
Hurricanes engine introducing across Jeep's lineup, including Wrangler and potentially the COV, marks a shift from the discontinued, and I hadn't heard about this before, the discontinued 3.6 liter V6 and the 6.4 liter V8 for the 2025 models, except for the Rubicon 392 Final Edition. Boo! It's not the final edition. I promise you. We
It's
talked about this
not.
last time. It's they're not gonna give up the money making
There's
machine.
no way. There's no way. With the money that they made up out of this last one and the demand for it, people will buy it. People want it. So
People,
you're
people
going
are,
to see it pop back up.
yeah, people are sitting on $100,000 for a vehicle. That blows my mind.
Yes. If they're willing to give it up, there's going to be another one. No way
Yep.
it's the last one.
So enthusiasts on forums like Wrangler Forum Express cautioned about adopting the first generation Hurricane. My dad told me about this. Never buy the first year of anything. Let them work out the bugs first.
Yeah. I sort of did, though, with the 2018.
Did it
Yeah,
work
and I
out for
haven't
you?
had any issues. It has.
There
It
you
hasn't.
go. There you go.
I'm over 100,000 miles, knock on wood, but I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. And it was a first year for that one. So the JL.
That's got the 3.6 in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been really happy with it. So go Jeep.
Good. So the Hurricane citing past issues with engines like the 3.8, horrible engine, and older Wranglers. However, early reports from Wagoneer owners suggest reliability. The two-door Wrangler Rubicon remains a favorite for purists. I didn't know that's how that was spelled. I just had to make a command decision there to figure out what that word was. Purists. Though its shorter wheelbase makes it less stable on highways. Screw stability. We want a Jeep, damn it. Yeah, they do have a tendency to
top
wiggle.
heavy.
Yeah.
Flip right over. You definitely have to be careful.
Though it's sort of wheelbase, blah, 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 blah. The virtual Comanche rendering, they're going back to that, while speculative, taps into Jeep's trend for leveraging heritage, as seen in the 1941's Willis edition. I always want to call it Willys, but it's Willis. Like, what you talking about?
What you talking about, Willis?
That's right. Well, I'm really excited. I had not heard that the 3.6 was discontinued. However, with the 22,000 cams on back order, I can understand why they might want to put something else out there besides the 3.6. 3.6 is a great engine, but it's got an oiling issue, and that you can fix. We're going to have Ken from Baxter Performance on here in the future to talk about that. It might be too late for your Jeep, but if you've gone through and had the warranty work done with replacing the cam and the rockers and so on and so forth, because of that ticking issue that gets in there and can get very, very bad and damaging the entire engine, then you might want to do something that you keep that 3.6 from doing it again.
Makes sense. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he says about all that.
All right, so you teased me earlier before we got started here on the episode about your first time at Moab, I believe. That you were telling me about.
So I
share that with us.
I recently went out. My daughter and I left here from good old South Carolina, drove for hours and hours and hours, 28 hours to Moab in the Jeep. So that's probably where a lot of my miles came from recently.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, so we drove all the way to Moab. Had some good friends that were going out, and they called and said, hey, y'all want to come? So who's going to turn down a good time? So we packed up, drove out. First time ever at Moab. I'm so used to wheeling in the east. Slick, muddy, your tires don't grip. Out west, tires just stick to the rocks.
It's sandpaper.
And
I say it time and time again. You're wheeling on sandpaper.
It's amazing. I will say the only thing I do not like is that I'm not a big heights girl. And so we don't have so much of that here with our wheeling. Yeah, that entrance to Hell's Revenge.
I was just going to ask you, we were talking about trails. I remember Hell's Revenge. That's a scary trail.
That was
it's narrow.
The first thing I did when I got to Moab was Hell's Revenge. And I thought, oh my God, if this is like this the entire time, just kill me now. But that was scary. And my daughter too, she was like, let me out. Let me walk.
Just getting in from the parking lot to Hell's Revenge is scary.
Yes. But I mean, that entrance, to think that if this is the entrance, what is waiting for me? So I think that was the scariest part. But I will say the scariest part of all of Hell's Revenge for me was that entrance. Nothing on either side of you, just straight down. And it's, you talk about a Jeep going from 0 to 60, your heart 0 to 60.
Yeah.
So
wasn't it weird coming down off of one of those things and you feel like you're vertical? It is
can't even
such
see.
Yeah.
You can't see anything and you're just praying, And I see my buddies down at the very bottom of it, and I'm like, okay, they made it down. And all I can do is
My chances are
just,
good.
yeah, stay on the grayed out, blackened, where everyone's put their tracks, their
That's
wheels,
right.
and
Stay on the
that's what
black
I
marks.
did. That's what I did. I just hovered those black marks the
Did
entire
you notice the
time.
little diamonds that
I
are in
did notice
between?
the diamonds. Yes.
Yeah, you don't really don't have to use them anymore, but I could well imagine that those were critical before all those tire marks were there.
Yes. Yeah. Between the diamonds and I think if it didn't have either of those, I might have just said abandon ship. We're going to another state. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean
But yeah,
you
it's
can't even trust somebody you're following somebody if they don't have any
yes.
directionals on there.
But
It
it's
was very interesting, but don't get us wrong, and you can agree or disagree. It's not a difficult trail.
it's
It's very
not.
scenic, and it's there's a lot of well, it's like being on a roller coaster. There's a big pucker factor, but
Yes.
chances are really good you're going to be just fine.
It's intimidating going in, but once you're in and you get past that initial entrance, then you're good. And
Yeah.
the view's beautiful. There are still some spots where you're looking over your hood and yeah, you're not seeing over the hood. You're not seeing anything. So, but it was fun. Now, the one trail that we did was Canes Creek, and it's rated a 7.
Oh
Okay.
no.
So, let's just talk about Hamburger Hill within Canes Creek. It is not a 7. Let's just go ahead and throw that out there. 8, 9, it has to be. But the buddy in front of me, he broke his tie rod in the worst spot. Side of the canyon, straight down. It's not forgiving. No cell service. Thank goodness we had some Starlink. Otherwise, we would have been there for who knows how long until someone just happened to come along. And for whatever reason, we were there on Mother's Day. There was no one in the park whatsoever. There was no one. But I think they're called. They have a YouTube channel. I think they're called Tomater or something like that. But they had to come and weld his tie rod right on the spot. So if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have been getting out very easily. But Hamburger Hill it needs to be renumbered, not a
Renamed.
7.
So, this is probably a dumb question because you did it, but was your Jeep set up for an 8+ trail?
Yeah, we did it, so I guess so. The one spot though, we did have to winch. Or we just went ahead and said, he's already broke his tie rod. We're not even playing.
this
There was
this
one
is
winch
don't
spot.
yeah, don't chance it. We don't need 2 broken Jeeps.
We
Yeah,
don't
that's
need
good.
to, so we just went ahead and winched out. But yeah, that's a serious little spot.
Mhm. Now you can break anything. Doesn't matter who the manufacturer is, but do you recall who made his tie rod? I'm hoping it's not factory.
It wasn't. It was actually RPM. Um, but they were gracious in that they were sending him out another. So, he literally called them standing on the side of the canyon and said, "Hey, this is the situation I'm in." They overnighted another one to him.
That's nice, really nice.
So, great
And
great
I
customer
think all their
service.
stuff is I think all their stuff is aluminum, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
They may have other things. I run Apex, so I don't know exactly everything that they have, but I do know that he was happy that they had good customer service. But to overnight it straight to Moab for him, that speaks volumes.
Well, I think off-roaders have all been there, and they know what it's like to be sitting there with a broken part. It's bad enough to tell somebody that my RPM tie rod broke, but if you can have it followed up with, but they had me a new one. They overnighted me one
Exactly.
the next day, and my trip at Moab was saved because that makes a big difference. Because everybody knows you're going to break something.
Exactly. You're right. You are going to break something. So, when companies stand behind what they put out, and I've had nothing but great things from Apex for sure, and I know that he was completely happy with RPM. So, that speaks volumes to customer
Mhm.
service, how people treat you, how people care.
Yeah.
Just being in that situation, and even the guys coming out on Mother's Day and from the YouTube channel and just saying, "Hey, let's get you out of here." However, my friend is kind of a fan of that YouTube channel, and he actually went to their shop that morning, and the guys told them, "Now, when you get to this one spot on Hamburger Hill, make sure you winch out. Just Just believe us. Mm-mm. He didn't. He's hard-headed.
Challenge accepted.
So when they pulled up, they went, we told you so. And so his wife had wanted him to winch. She was so mad when she heard them say that. She said, "Are you kidding me? You told him to winch?" And she is trying to spot him the best that she could up that one spot. And yeah, it just snapped. And we were done.
So was it like on a rock that it was
It was on a rock.
bending on
A
and stuff?
big
Okay.
rock
Yeah.
on the side of the canyon. It was not in a good spot. Yeah, just Google some videos for Hamburger Hill. Not a 7.
So
But
what was your overall?
The guys too said this is not a 7. The ones that rescue people, I guess, on the daily there.
Well, trails change
They
too
do.
over time, wear and tear when it rains. So yeah, it has to be updated. So overall, what did you think your experience was? Was it worth the 46 hours of traveling?
It was worth it. It really was. It was views that I have never seen, views we do not have here in the East. Just, all the red rock canyons. It's gorgeous. I mean, we have trees and grass and those things I miss
Oh, wonderful
because it's
things. Absolutely.
so lush here.
Yeah.
I do miss that there. But on the other hand, it was just views and views, and you could see forever. And then parts that we went through, we saw snow covered, in Colorado. And the trip was just amazing. And in that we stopped somewhere in every state along the way to do something to say that we actually went to the state, we enjoyed it, whether we sat down and had a meal, we stayed overnight. We went to the Wizard of Oz and, one state we went to see Superman and another, just something that each state kind of prided theirself on. So we enjoyed it. And then after Moab, I ended up going to Overland Expo West because it was going on at that time. So we got to go to Arizona. And then once I got to Arizona, I said, what the heck? We can't drive from South Carolina to Arizona and not continue on to California. So we loaded up after the show and we just headed straight on to California. So we made the trek from South Carolina to California and then back from California all the way to South Carolina. We saw every state, except for one state. We didn't go through like New Orleans, but that was, I would have liked to stop there. That was one of the places I wanted to take my daughter, but I had already been there, so she'll have to catch that another time and visit. But we saw so much and did so much. Cadillac Ranch we got to visit. So, I know that that's probably not a huge thing, but when you see the pictures on social media, online, and to be able to say you got to go find something in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Is the Cadillac Ranch, is that a biker thing? I'm trying to remember.
They have, what are the vehicles? All just standing up and they're spray painted.
Oh, okay.
You could take a can of spray paint. I have a couple on my Instagram page right at the very front with me and my daughter. So I'll have to send that, but it's just a cool place of nothing. And I want to say I read the backstory of Cadillac Ranch in that the people who started Cadillac Ranch were going to lose their place by the state or what have you. And so they had to come up with a gimmick to bring people in. And that's how they saved their property. I could be completely wrong, but I believe that's the history of it.
Oh, it sounds right. It sounds good, even if it's wrong.
Yeah,
it sounds like a good story.
But they have a whole store and everything to the side. We didn't go in the store, but yeah, I believe that's the history. So yeah, check out Cadillac Ranch.
What was the most memorable thing at Moab? You may have already said this, but was there something that stood out to you that maybe you haven't mentioned? Did you do any night wheeling?
We did not. Well, at night, we actually went to Arches, and I really liked Arches. So, and with Arches, we kind of went through the back 4x4 entrance. And I don't know if some people frown upon that, but we had some good friends that told us to do that. We have the America the Beautiful pass. So if you do that, make sure you have the pass because that covers your entrance fee. But we had that. And so you get to see the dinosaur tracks. And then you go through we went through the part of arches that was super crowded and everybody's standing under the arch and it's hard to get a picture. But with the 4x4 entrance, I'll say entrance, I don't know if technically it's supposed to be, there are arches where your general population can't get to. So
I call them civilians, the people, the non-Jeepers. Yeah.
So that was fun. And the people that we saw back there were, I guess, your Jeep vehicles that were bringing tourists in. So people were coming back there, but they were paying, like someone to bring them back there because they didn't have the 4x4. But we did see other Jeeps back there like ourselves. So, but you definitely have to have a 4x4 to get through there. But we did, your question, going at night, we went back to arches. It was a little bit spooky. So we were thinking we might get abducted by some aliens out there. So that was fun.
They never let you take pictures for social media, though. That's the pissy thing, because that'd really take off. That'd be a million views.
I mean,
and everybody's saying that's the worst makeup I've ever seen. That type of thing, because the people wouldn't believe it.
That would be fun. Yeah. If I see I did get a picture with an alien, but I can't post it. I'm not allowed.
Well, I mean, you could get them picked up by ICE, so I understand.
They said, just don't post this. Keep it on the down low.
All right, so join the vibrant Jeep Talk Show community and connect with fellow Jeep enthusiasts. Share your thoughts and stories by leaving us a voicemail, sending an email, or joining our lively roundtable discussions, or hopping on our Discord server. We love hearing from you, so jump in and be part of the conversation today. Hey, stay in the loop with the Jeep Talk Show by subscribing to our newsletter. Get the latest updates, exclusive content, and insider tips delivering straight to your inbox. Don't miss out on the action. Join our community at Jeep Enthusiasts and subscribe today. Just go over to xjtalk.com/contact. I can't believe I've only said that once in this episode. All right, did this Jeep episode get your engine roaring like a 392? Join us or show us some love by dropping a 5-star rating and a blazing review on your go-to podcast platform. It's your way to help us expand our Jeep family. Keep the adventure rolling by hitting follow on social media and joining our newsletter crew for the hottest Jeep updates, unmissable events, and awesome giveaways. The giveaways don't happen as often anymore, but they could be coming back. Got a burning question or a wild idea for our next episode? Fire it over to us at jeeptalkshow.com/contact. That's 2. Hey, everyone, if you have enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. It really helps us out on the YouTubes. Thanks for watching. April, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've done this twice, so it's not an accident.
It's not an accident.
You learned the first time. You knew what you were in for, and you came back.
And I came back. Come back for more. A lot of fun. Thanks so much.
Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.